You think you know Portugal, but what if I told you part of it sits on 3 tectonic plates, making its islands some of the most volcanic places in Europe? Or that along its coast, cliffs shoot straight up from the Atlantic, with towns built right into the rock? The landscape here changes so fast. One moment, you're in rugged mountains, the next in deep valleys, or standing on wild shorelines. And just offshore, an underwater canyon drops more than 5,000 meters, creating waves found nowhere else on Earth. If you're ready to see a Portugal most people never imagine, a land of raw power and ancient beauty, then join us on this journey. We'll start in Lisbon, a city older than Rome, with a history stretching back 3,000 years. It stands on the western edge of Europe, built on 7 hills that descend toward the Tagus River. This terrain shapes everything. Streets rise and fall in steep angles, climbing from old neighborhoods to broad viewpoints overlooking the water. The river widens into a vast estuary, its surface shifting with wind and tide before opening to the Atlantic. The city carries long layers of history in its streets. Narrow alleys of stone run beside open squares, paved in patterned limestone. Buildings lean into the hillsides, their facades colored with tile and pastel tones that catch the afternoon light. Trams climb the steepest streets, their tracks curving between tightly packed houses. Markets fill lower districts near the water, while higher ridges offer quiet spaces above the sound of traffic. It's a city defined by its connection to the sea and the slopes it was built upon. Now, let's head north to Porto, a city built on steep hills that fall directly into the Douro River. The terrain divides the city into terraces, with narrow streets climbing from the waterfront up toward high plateaus. From the riverbanks, layers of rooftops rise in uneven steps, their tiles glowing in shades of red and brown. The Douro shapes everything here. Its channel runs between granite cliffs, carrying slow currents toward the Atlantic. The famous Dom Luís de Fer bridge crosses the river, designed not by Eiffel, but by his top student, giving the city its own iconic iron style. Boats move along the water below, their silhouettes passing between the walls of the valley. The buildings along the slopes carry centuries of use. Walls of stone and painted facades stand beside warehouses built into the hillside. As we travel along the northeastern border, we enter the Douro Natural Park, a landscape carved by one of the deepest river valleys in the Iberian Peninsula. The river cuts through layers of granite and schist, forming cliffs that drop sharply to the water. The valley twists through the hills, its slopes marked by stone, dry grass, and scattered groves. The terrain is harsh. Plateaus stretch out above the river, exposed to sun and wind, while narrow tracks descend into the gorge. Villages stand on the high ground, built from stone that matches the cliffs. Along the water, the river moves in slow, dark currents between sheer walls. In the quieter sections, ancient terraces appear on the slopes, carved into the rock over generations to hold small fields overlooking the deep channel below. In Portugal's far northwest lies Peneda Gerês National Park, a wide expanse of granite massifs, deep valleys, and high plateaus. The mountains rise in long ridges that stretch towards Spain, their slopes broken by boulders and patches of forest. From the higher elevations, the land drops into narrow valleys where rivers run in clear, fast-moving channels over polished stone. The terrain changes sharply with altitude. Upper plateaus hold open grasslands and scattered rock formations, while lower areas turn into dense oak and pine forests threaded with small waterfalls. Old paths traverse the slopes, worn by centuries of movement between villages, pastures, and sacred sites tucked into remote corners of the mountains. In the center of Portugal rises Serra da Estrela, the highest mountain range on the mainland. Granite peaks stretch across the horizon, their slopes carved by deep glacial valleys. Small lakes fill depressions left by ancient ice, their surfaces reflecting the surrounding stone. Streams descend from the upper slopes, forming channels that wind toward lower villages. This is a land shaped by shepherding. Stone shelters and dry walls appear across the plateaus, tracing routes used for seasonal grazing. Flocks still move through the mountains in the warmer months, their paths marked by worn trails in the grass. This place feels timeless, a window into a different way of life. Now, imagine a village built among enormous granite boulders. That's Monsanto in eastern Portugal. Here, houses are fitted directly against the stones, their walls merging with the rock as if the settlement grew right out of the hillside. Narrow paths twist between the boulders, rising toward the crest where the remains of a medieval fortress overlook the plains below. From the higher paths, the view stretches across rolling fields and distant ridges. It's a testament to human ingenuity, a place where people didn't just build on the land, they built with it. Traveling west, we reach the Sintra Cascais Natural Park, a landscape shaped by the collision of mountains, forest, and the Atlantic coast. The Serra de Sintra rises abruptly from the lowlands, a granite ridge wrapped in dense vegetation. Moist air from the ocean sweeps inland, forming mist that drifts through the trees. Light filters through shifting fog, revealing boulders, terraces, and steep paths cut into the mountain. The forest thickens around the ridge, a mix of native trees and exotic plantings from centuries past. Trails wind through cool, shaded corridors before opening onto rocky clearings, where the land falls sharply toward the sea. From these heights, the Atlantic stretches to the horizon, its waves breaking against the cliffs far below. This is Cabo da Roca, the westernmost point of continental Europe, a place that feels like the very edge of the world. Down along the southern coast, the Algarve's landscape becomes even more dramatic. Here, the ocean has carved incredible sea caves into the limestone cliffs. Some, like the famous Benagil cave with its natural skylight, are only reachable by boat, offering a glimpse into hidden worlds. Further east, the coastline softens into the Ria Formosa, a vast lagoon system shaped by shifting sands and tides. A chain of barrier islands protects calm waters, salt marshes, and shallow lagoons that teem with life. It's a landscape in constant motion, where tides expose wide beds of sand and shell, then cover them again within hours. This peaceful wetland is a crucial stop for countless migratory birds, a place of quiet beauty. And just inland, another surprise, the Algarve, Europe's largest artificial lake, a vast man-made sea stretching across the Alentejo plains. But to truly understand Portugal's volcanic heart, we must travel far out into the Atlantic to the Azores. In the central Azores rises Pico Island, shaped by the immense volcanic cone that dominates its horizon. The mountain lifts from the coastline in a broad sweep of dark basalt, climbing toward a summit often wrapped in cloud. Old lava fields stretch across the land in uneven patterns. The lower slopes carry a patchwork of stone walls built from cooled lava, protecting small vineyards from wind and salt. These islands sit right on major whale migration routes, making them one of the few places in Europe where you can spot giant species close to shore. Lakes here can even change color depending on light, depth, and minerals, a reminder of the powerful geology just beneath the surface. Our final stop is Madeira, an island of breathtaking extremes. The island's historic Levada system, a network of irrigation channels, runs for more than 2,000 kilometers, cutting through lush forests and mountains. These narrow paths offer incredible hiking routes with stunning views. In some areas, the cliffs are so steep that farmers use cable cars just to reach their fields near the ocean. It's a world where human life has adapted to an almost vertical landscape, creating a place unlike any other on Earth. From volcanic islands to ancient mountains, from cliff-carved rivers to coastlines facing the endless ocean, Portugal's landscapes tell a story of power, resilience, and beauty. This is a country far more diverse and dramatic than many ever realize. It is a place that constantly challenges your expectations and rewards you with views that will stay with you forever. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed discovering the wild side of Portugal, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. We'll see you next time.